All right. Welcome, everyone, to the weekly coaching call. My name is Omar Pinto. I am your host. And we are going to kick off today's coaching call with Corrie. Corrie's calling in from the road. So, Corrie, please tell us how we can help.
Well, here's the deal. I'm currently employed, but for a few weeks. It's a subcontracting job. They didn't give me like an offer. They were like, well, let's try you out for 6 weeks and let's see how you do. So I come off of unemployment where I've been for, since July. It's not my dream job. But my husband and I and some friends of mine were just like, you know what? Like, it's a job and it's something that is in your wheelhouse to do. So, a bird in the hand is worth two in the bush, right? Well, meanwhile, I have these applications in with, say, two companies that I really want to do. My issue is that I started last Tuesday. They've already had me travel in the COVID, in the pandemic and stuff, which I've been like super weird about, masking up and everything, but I'm already in my uncomfortability zone. The job involves a lot of travel to like a bunch of different states. And it's, me putting together these like seminars, right? Where I'm kind of like on a stage doing a thing, doing a spiel. I have to learn, of course, 2 new computer programs, just constantly be on my email, constantly be on. It's a job. It's a job. Okay. My question and what I've been wanting to do and what my instinct is to do is immediately bail. When shit gets hard, us addicts, we fucking bail, right? We're like, nope, gonna bail. And the thing that I didn't think of, which my husband told me today, was like, well, listen, we just hired this babysitter and, if you bail, then she's out of a job. So we can't forget about her. She's a nice person and whatever. And his thing is, why don't you just stick in it? You don't have to give 99, 100%, just give like 75%. They didn't give you a written offer. They're trying you out just as much as you're trying them out. And wait for these other companies, these 2 other companies that you are interviewing with to give you a written offer. He's like, let's not leave this job until you have a written offer. Now, I understand this sounds like, what a fucking bitch princess. There is a lot of people out there with no fucking job. She has no right to complain. But, okay, I'm complaining because I want to bail and I want to bail fast because I'm like, this is too hard. This computer program is too hard. I am afraid of being on stage and giving a spiel about a subject that I know maybe a medium amount about. Like, there's just, and I guess where it plays into recovery is I'm back in the saddle again. And what I always do when I'm stressed and I whatever, is like at the end of the day, have a couple cigarettes, pop open some drinks, and then just drink myself into a blackout, which of course I'm not in danger of picking up. I'm not in danger of that, but I do recognize certain old patterns that are sort of nagging at me where it's like, oh my God, we're kind of stressed. We don't want to do this. You need to escape in some kind of way. And so that's kind of where I'm at right now. And I totally welcome the hard talk. So
Ask me the question.
My question is, should I fucking bail? It's been a full week of doing this. A full week. They've given me a 6-week trial, me trying them, them trying me. Should I bail and wait for these other companies to magically call me? Which they're not far off. I've had interviews, but I mean, these things can take a lot of time.
Right. Okay.
Should I bail and go back on unemployment, or should I stick this out even though it's hard?
Okay. So for what reason did you take the job in the first place?
I took the job because I hadn't had work since July when I, lost my other job. And I was like, well, this is in my wheelhouse, kinda. It'd be nice to have money, an income to bring in because I got 2 kids and a husband and everything. And it'd be nice to have some money to, it's the fucking pandemic. Like, it's not to have money to go buy a bunch of shit. It's to have money to, like, save and pay bills.
Yeah, you don't need to give me excuses, right? I'm just asking, for what reason would you take the job? So first is, it's in my wheelhouse, kinda, and it's nice to have some money, right?
Yeah.
Anything else?
Well, I was kind of getting itchy just, being at home, being a stay-at-home mom again, trying to do the remote learning and all the shit with the kids, and I was like, ooh, man, this will be something different.
Okay. So now, itchy stay at home. This will be different. So when did you realize that you made a mistake?
Well, when I was traveling in a rental car from Indianapolis to St. Louis, I I don't know. I think it was pretty much right away, I guess you could say. I was like, oh my God, this is a lot of stuff I have to learn. I don't know if I can do this. Like, I don't know if this subject is something that I'm passionate enough about in order to jump through all these hoops to be super good at my job. It seemed to be like, I guess I've been out of practice, Omar. You know what I mean? And jumping back in, like 1,000 phone calls, 1,000 emails, working at that high level speed. It kind of threw me for a loop a bit. Plus the travel, and I was just like, "Oh my God, pump the brakes."
Okay, so you're drinking out of a fire hose again.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Pressure and overwhelm.
Yeah.
Pressure and overwhelm. Okay, we're good. We're getting somewhere. All right.
I don't think I'm unique in this. I'm not a Little Miss Special. I just,
Tell me about what happened in St. Louis.
Well, I was traveling with somebody who I was trying to do training with, right? They were going to show me, like, okay, this is how you do the seminar. This is how you set up for it. Okay, so right away, this guy sets up, 2 different laptops with 17 different AV cords into the projection screen, I can't even turn on my own damn Netflix. Input number 1, 2. I'm like, oh my God. Already, that's a fail. I'm not going to be able to do that. He gives this wonderful long speech, knows a ton about the product, like just talks and talks and talks for 4 hours. This guy is like doing it, right? And I am just losing my mind. I'm like, oh my God, I am never gonna be able to just talk so casually and so calmly and so whatever without having a hyperventilating attack. People are going to ask me questions, and what if I don't know the answer, and what if I look like a big dingus in front of everyone?
Okay, so you went to St. Louis with the trainer.
Yeah.
And he did all he did the entire presentation.
Yes, exactly.
Okay. And how many of these trainings are they going to do for you?
Well, they did that one. And then I attended another one with him in a different city there. And then now next Friday, I'm scheduled to go and do another training seminar with this, other person from the company.
Okay. All right. And besides watching them with the training and him explaining it to you, broad strokes, is there a more, I guess you could say, Is there like a module, like a training module, like a step-by-step guide on how to do the presentation? Corey, come in. Okay, folks. Pause for station identification. One moment. We will be right back shortly after this commercial break. And if you haven't listened to the Omar Pinto Coaching Podcast, be sure to check out the Omar Pinto Coaching Podcast on your favorite mobile device. And she officially fell off. Bummer. All right.
She bailed on this too.
Yeah. All right. Come on, Corey, come back. She must have gone through a rough patch since she was driving. All right. So I don't know if you guys know where I'm going with this, but I'm trying to identify as much as possible what's really going on here. What's behind this? Now, this also sounds like an incredibly high stress, high pressure job. And for anyone who has, there she is, she's back. Hold on one moment. Corey, come back, unmute yourself.
Hey, yeah, I'm so sorry. I don't know what happened there.
No worries. Let me just
I was blabbing on and not realizing that I wasn't still on with you.
Okay, no worries. Okay, so my question was, outside of the on the job training, okay, where they're taking you and you're watching them, is there a step-by-step module or course that you also have to learn this presentation piece by piece?
Yes, actually, Omar, there is. I haven't even gotten to that yet because they've given me other training modules to watch first. So that's kind of interesting that you asked that question.
Okay, so expand on that. Why is that interesting?
Well, I mean, I guess I was coming in kind of hot with like, they're throwing me to the wolves. I can't do this.
Yeah, they're not.
Yeah, they're not. They're not. It just feels like that because there are other balls in motion at the same time, you know, with any job. It's not just you're working on one thing, you're working on multiple things at once, like a normal adult.
Okay, so what is the company's expectations of you?
They expect me to help fill these seminars with people.
No. Yeah, no, I understand that. But sorry, let me be more clear. What is their expectations for you to actually be able to deliver one of these presentations on your own?
The expectation is for me to watch all of their online training, attend these other events with these trainers in person, and then like go time on your own in like February, mid-February. It's almost February. And I'm like, oh my God, is that enough time? I don't know.
There we go. Okay, great. So now what's happening is you're feeling the pressure and the overwhelm.
Totally.
Okay. And so
also imposter, Omar, because I'm just like, I can't believe these people think that, you know what I mean? Like my dingus ass, like, how did I even get this job?
Okay. So first of all, you're taking this whole job presentation thing too seriously. Okay. It's just a thing, just like any other thing. However, this one has a public speaking thing in it. And so the real big question here, because it's one thing to fail. It's one thing to fail at your job and then your boss say, hey, listen, you made a mistake and we need to correct this. It's another thing to get in front of an audience and, go blank.
Right.
So have you given presentations before?
I have, but it's been quite some time.
Okay. All right. So, and now I want you to think back to when you have given presentations in the past, and how did those go for you?
I mean, they went pretty well. They went okay. I just was like uber duper prepared. And then I remember practicing like in front of a mirror, just talking to myself and then rewording it and trying again. And then trying it out on like, I don't know, my mom or somebody like that, like whatever.
Excellent. So what is preventing you from doing that now?
Well, the thought that, this ain't my dream job. So what the fuck? Why should I try?
Okay. So now we're at the real issue. You don't like the gig.
Yeah.
Okay. You watch the presentation and you're like, yeah, I don't want to do this.
That's exactly right, Omar. Oh my God, you totally got to the point of all that shit I was trying to say.
Okay.
Can I swear on here?
Yes. So and I already caught early on in the beginning where the hook is for you and why you're staying. One of the reasons why you're staying. There's a few. But you recognized once you went on the road and saw the guy giving a presentation and then recognized how much you'd have to learn and that this is not something that you're passionate about. And then this idea of like, yeah, this isn't going to work for me. But there was a but that came after this. Okay. This isn't going to work for me. I don't like this. But what?
But, I haven't worked since July and, I need the money.
Okay.
I got people that depend on me.
So what are the consequences? List the consequences of you just telling these people, hey, listen, you know what? This is not going to work for me. And you bail on the job. What are the consequences?
I mean, I think a consequence would be like, well, one, it might mess up my unemployment because it would show that I was employed for 2 weeks. So I'd have to refile with unemployment and, deal with that whole mess again, not getting paid or how do you certify and all, it was just a nightmare to set up. Then I'd have my husband being like, I thought we agreed that, you'd stick this out until and if you get a written offer from the company that you say is your dream job or what you want. And then, so I'd be disappointing him basically. And then I'd kind of probably feel shitty about myself that when things get tough, I try to bail always. Or try to find a reach around or a way around or a whatever,
Okay. So this is what it sounds like to me. And this is probably what's really the core issue here, which is that you are not wanting to disappoint your husband or yourself.
Yeah.
Okay. You don't want to think of yourself as a quitter. All right. So here's what we have to do. We have to recognize that right now, one of the decisions and probably the main decision of staying and keeping this job is because you don't want to disappoint your husband. Yes or no?
I'd say yes.
Okay. So guess what happens? Guess what happens when we do things because we don't want to disappoint someone else?
What happens?
Guess.
The feeling that you don't want to do something just still stays there.
Correct.
But
Keep going with that. Keep going with that.
It gets louder.
Okay. And so describe.
It
Tell me the feelings that are going to come up. I wrote down 3.
I can't believe, like, frustration, I guess. Like,
What else?
anger, maybe. Just like, also
you know,
a
the
fear
word
of failure. Oh God. Inadequacy.
No.
Overwhelm.
No, you're already there.
It.
You're already there. You're already there. Here's what's going to
Okay.
happen. You don't want to disappoint your husband. So you're in this job because you don't want to fire the nanny, and you don't want to disappoint your husband, and you don't want to be a quitter. And so you keep doing this job that you hate. And so what feelings start to come up?
Resentment.
There you go.
Giant fat resentment.
There you go. Followed by bitter and anger.
Yeah.
Angerness, bitterness, and resentment. So here's the thing. So outside looking in, there is something that we do, and this falls in line with people who have addictions. Okay, so typically when we are susceptible to addiction, which means we are susceptible to acting out behavior, when we start to develop a resentment, and that resentment starts turning into bitterness, and that bitterness turns into anger, we have a tendency to do what?
Escape.
Yes. What else?
Act out.
Yep. Escape, act out, and self-sabotage.
And self-sabotage. Yeah, that's a big one.
Okay. So this is delicate, Corrie, because you know yourself better than anyone. And this is not a job at Whole Foods. And
Right.
this is not a job, answering customer service for Amazon.
Right.
This has components where you are away from home overnight, correct?
Yes.
You are traveling. You are selling. You are always going to have this feeling of anxiety right before you get on stage to give
Can I tell you can I interject one thing? Yeah. I went to a lunch with a client wherein the trainer and the client both had whiskeys at lunch. And okay. I had a soda and crayon.
Okay, so
my first time out.
Okay, so I want you to here's the thing. I want you to remove yourself from the 6-year-old. Okay. So I need you to not come from the place of the 6-year-old, and I need you to come from the place of the adult woman that you are. And I need you to, in this moment, effectively communicate why this position does not serve you.
Well, if I think of everything in my life, my family, my job, my mental health, all of it resting as an upside down triangle on recovery being at the tippity bottom that holds all of this shit up, I feel that I could be at risk doing this job.
And that's it. There are so many components that as soon as you started to describe it, and I have been your coach, Okay. So I have a lot of previous knowledge of your job, your previous jobs, the previous behavior in those jobs, and what it did to you and what it did to your family. What I'm curious about is, as I'm getting red flags the whole time you're telling me, I'm curious as to for what reason your husband's not seeing those same red flags.
His thing is, I don't know. Well, first of all, he's like, you know what? Fuck them. They're not giving you a written offer. So you might as well try this job out until you get one, and then you can get paid. And, you know, and then he said to me this morning, I said, I think I want to quit this job. Like, they want me to go on another overnight, you know, next Friday, you know, to Texas or wherever the hell. And I think before they pay for me to do this and you know, put time into me to train, I feel like I'm disingenuous in doing it. And he's like, fuck them. Like, they're not giving you a written offer. They don't have to pay unemployment. You're an independent contractor. Like, you know, just basically ride it out until, and I said, what do you mean ride it out? Like, what does that mean? You know, like, does that mean that you're telling me not to quit? He's like, I am not telling you anything. He's like, I'm not being the bad guy and telling you to stay in this job if you don't want to. I'm not being the bad guy, you know, at all. Like, this is your decision if you want to quit or not. And I said, I'm running it by you because we're like freaking married here and this affects both of us. But I did not frame it in that way of recovery at all. I just was framing it in the way of like, look, man, like I hate this. I don't want to do it, whatever. And I just couldn't put my finger on the descriptive communication words that I needed to use. I feel like I don't know. We had this conversation this morning, he and I. And he's just kind of like, you know how you just kind of back off the situation, take your hands off of it, where it's like, oh, it's your decision. It's your decision, you know? And it's like, is it?
It
like,
is.
Okay.
It is your decision, Corrie. Everyone has a choice in this world. Everyone. Okay. You don't have to do anything. I got to go see my mom this weekend. No, you don't. I got to go to church on Sunday. No, you don't. I have to pay my taxes. No, you don't. Like, you don't have to do anything you don't want to do. This is just from this perspective, it's guilt, fear, and obligation. You're allowing yourself to be manipulated, and this is all you. This is on your side. Okay. You're feeling the pressure of being unemployed. You're tired of being unemployed. You want to start making some money. Okay. You took on this job because it was the first job that was presented to you. I get that.
Yeah.
This is just like, and let's see if anybody else here can identify with this, because I sure can with this example. How many of us have been on our first date after months, maybe even years, and you're on this date with somebody and you haven't been on a date for so long that doesn't matter what happens, you're going to go on a second date. Okay. Just because you're so grateful to be with another human being. Right. And then like 4 or 5 dates in, you're like, oh my God, I don't even like this person, but I don't know how to like get out of it. Cause you know, I don't want to hurt their feelings. You ever been there?
Oh yeah. I mean,
maybe not you, Corrie.
I'll shut up now.
All right, guys. That was just because I know Corrie. Right? But seriously, it's no different there is this sense of obligation. Like after I've gone out on 3 dates, like I feel obligated to go on a fourth. And just because I've showed up to 3 trainings, now I feel obligated to keep going here because I made this commitment. And because we hired a babysitter, now I feel obligated to keep working because now she's going to be out of a job, right? And I made this commitment to my husband. And as I go further into this examples, you recognize that none of this is coming from you.
Oh my God, you're so right. You're so right. And I don't know, I just was not able to articulate that this is my like inner feelings. Like, oh my God.
Make the call and eat the shit sandwich. Okay.
Right?
Just go, I know what's right for me. Say it out loud. I know what's good for me.
I know what's good for me.
This job is not good for me.
This job is not good for me.
This job embodies all of the things that were going on in my life when I was drinking and using.
This job embodies all of the things that were going on in my life when I was drinking and using.
This job is not safe for my recovery.
This job is not safe for my recovery.
Now, did any of those statements feel untrue?
None of those statements felt untrue. And I guess what I would ask is, do I articulate this to my husband in this way with the recovery at the tippity top?
Yes.
That's
right. The most important aspect is your recovery. Are you a year sober yet?
Not even.
Okay. So in that
I'm 11.
first year,
I'm 11 months. I'm 11 months. I'm still
Okay.
baby sober.
You're close. You're close. Okay. My only question is, what about unemployment? Sometimes if you quit a job, you don't qualify for unemployment. Well, there is that.
I mean, it could have mucked up my whole unemployment already. Like, I don't know.
Okay. Here's the thing that we constantly have to keep in mind. When I am concerned with everyone else's well-being, when I'm putting other people's interests ahead of my own, then I run the possibility of developing a resentment. And that resentment, if it were to fester, will turn into bitterness and anger, potentially some rage. And then I will need to soothe myself with something, potentially.
Uh-huh.
So we know
I just didn't see the pattern when I'm in it. All I knew was I was like, oh my God, Omar has a call. I'm calling him, because I just couldn't organize my thoughts. Like, I couldn't articulate what it is that, it's so simple that you've just articulated, is like, there is a goddamn pattern. There's a pattern that we addicts follow, or at least, I don't think I'm special in this. It's like,
no.
The resentments, the what, I'm just agreeing with you. So, yeah.
So any other questions?
No, I'm going to have this conversation with him, and I'm going to not take this next trip. I'm going to do this. And you know what? Like, whatever, like the right, stable job is going to come along for me if I have faith in God and the universe. And if I stay strong and keep coming to meetings like I do every other day, whatever the hell. Like, I mean, if I keep recovery in the forefront of my mind instead of like, oh my God, it's like the Tony Robbins 6 things or whatever. I put something else ahead, and I don't know what I put ahead. Something else.
In this particular case, you were seeking certainty.
Yeah. And I'm working on the other one.
Growth.
And I'm working on growth. And I jumped to certainty, and I still need to work on growth.
Ding, 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 ding. We have a winner. How do you feel?
Oh my God. I feel like a giant elephant has just released its step from my head.
I can hear it in your voice, the lightness.
Whew.
There you go. There you go.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much.
Of course.
Thanks for letting me take up some time on your show here.
That's why we're here. I'm so glad you joined in. I'm sure this is definitely going to help other people, especially when you get stuck in that feeling that guilt, shame, obligation, fear, and you put other people's needs ahead of your own. That is a setup for a resentment. And once the resentment kicks in, it grows, festers, and ultimately will need to be soothed in one way or another. This is the most adult way of being responsible with your recovery. And I love the last part, what you said. Like, I am going to put my hands in God and in the universe, and I'm going to keep doing the next right thing. And I know that whatever the universe has waiting for me is going to be better than what I'm letting go of right now. Well done.
Thanks, Coach.
You got it, sweetheart. All right. Applause for Corrie. Well done. Everybody, let's give Corrie a big round of applause. All right, we've got 20 minutes, folks. Who is next?
I have a question about regret. Or maybe it's not regret.
Give me your question.
Well, like I've had a lot of thoughts for a long time. I've been like dwelling on things that have happened in the past and wished I made a different decision about them. Like when I joined the Marine Corps, I had a job that I didn't like, and it was because, I kind of gambled and let them decide for me. And a lot of this stuff is hindsight. Hindsight's 2020, of course. I know it was looking back. I know, that was the wrong decision, but at the time I didn't know because things worked out one way versus, what I thought they would or hoped they would work out with. But thinking about it, I don't know if it's really did I regret those decisions, or if it's something deeper than that. And that's kind of why I was asking. This happens like with the Marine Corps, and then when I moved to Idaho when I was younger, I kind of regret how I responded to that. And then when I went to college, I kind of regret what I majored in and things. But all of these are, of course, after everything has happened. I looking through and going, oh yeah, I made the wrong decision there.
Okay. All right. So what's the actual question?
How do you overcome regret then? Or I guess discover if it is actually regret?
Okay. I got you. Okay. So do you feel regretful?
No, I don't. It doesn't feel right. Like it's what I think it's regret, but that doesn't. When I say it, it doesn't have that same feeling. It feels honestly more like shame. Like I didn't do something that I was supposed to do,
Okay. So,
or some sort of expectation I had, or somebody had, or I got from somewhere.
okay, this is very good. Okay. And this is a great topic because you're trying to understand what it is. What am I really feeling here? Okay. I made these choices, and a part of me thinks I may have regretted going to the Marine Corps and regretted moving to Idaho and regretted going to college and picking the major that I picked. But is it that do I feel regret, or do I feel shame or ashamed for making these choices? They're very intertwined. Okay, because really what I'm trying to understand is why I made the choices. Does that feel more accurate?
Um, I know why. Well, moving to Idaho wasn't my choice. I was 15 years old. That was my parents' choice, and I did choose to join the Marine Corps, and I don't regret joining the Marine Corps. But I guess that's why I was thinking the shame. I more regret what I did in the Marine Corps, like the job that I was assigned to. And part of that is why, I thought for the longest time it was that I regretted that I didn't do something. And I think it's more that I was ashamed that I didn't do more of something in the Marine Corps. And then in college, it was kind of the same thing. Like, I think it's kind of because I just half-assed it there and didn't, it wasn't a bad choice to go to college. It was just a bad response of what I did when I go to college. Or
Okay.
when I went to college.
Very good. Very good. So really, let's phrase this in a positive way, and we'll phrase it in a positive way in forward motion. Okay, or like into the future, like forward facing and positive. So right now what we're doing is we're looking at it negatively in the past. Okay, which is my regret is I didn't take advantage of these opportunities the way I would have liked to. Does that sound accurate?
Yes, it does.
Okay, great. So now let's try and just use that, because there's nothing I can do about the past. But these moments can be very strong drivers for the future if I choose to look at it that way. Okay, I can either look at it as a point of contention, as a way to even almost sit on my laurels and ruminate on the past, or again, we use this to shift gears, and we use it to create drivers. So let's just, for the sake, let's just assume, because I'm assuming that this is going to be correct. I never want to waste an opportunity like that again. Right?
That's correct. Yeah.
So if you were in the Marine Corps now, knowing what you know today, what would you do differently?
I'd actually pick a job instead of allowing them to pick one for me. Um, and then that way, of course, naturally, I didn't get one I wanted because I let them pick.
Right? For me. Okay. 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 So I'd pick a job, not let them pick it for me. So I would be proactive and assertive. How does that sound?
That sounds correct. That sounds correct.
Okay. All right. So let's think back to the feelings that come up for you. Well, first of all, I want to know for what reason you let them pick your job for you back then.
Well, I mean, alcohol did play a role in it. I had limited choices for the job I could do because I had been in trouble for alcohol. And they told me that I had good scores in stuff and that I could get picked by that trade school or that MOS, which is military occupational skill, um, if I went open contract, which I was like, okay, because the jobs that they had for me weren't anything I really wanted to do. Um, but I wanted to join the Marine Corps because it was, right after September 11th. So of course, I joined, and then of course they didn't give me one of those. They gave me one that nobody really wanted to do, or the one that that people picked the least because that's where they needed people.
Okay. All right. So alcohol played a role in not getting what you wanted. Correct?
That's correct. Yeah.
Okay. So what we have now is drivers, and we also have motivation. So if you in the sense of drivers, okay, and motivations, let's start with drivers. If you think now about that time, and we've got college and we've got the military, how can you use these moments that present some regret, that present some uncomfortable feelings about yourself, which is probably some disappointment, probably a little sadness, maybe a little ruminating, a little wanderlust, like I wonder what if I would have just, what if I wasn't drinking, what if I would have been more assertive, what if I would have been more proactive, right? So how can I use these feelings in a positive way to drive me?
I could use them to help me like plan better and analyze whatever I want to do in the future. Like you said, I could use this, like, so I never want another opportunity to go to waste. Okay, well then, to make the best out of these opportunities, I got a plan. And of course, when I was drinking, my planning was zero to none. And if I ever thought of doing any planning, I would drink and wouldn't do it, and then be hungover and wouldn't do it. And then at the end, it was just kind of, I was winging a lot of my plans, not because I was that type that liked to wing it. It was just, I was just hungover, or it came to the point where it was that day and I had to make a decision, like, oh shit, what am I doing? Oh yeah, I guess we're going B. That sounds good, just throwing darts instead of actually planning it out.
All right. So I will plan. I will prepare. I will decide. I will choose. And it's interesting because this is the same direction I was taking Corrie in. Okay. She is making decisions not from a place of strength and not from and her intentions or what she wants. It's more of what's needed from others. The job needs me. My husband needs me to make money, right? But this is not what I want to do. Okay. And there's no difference in the military, right? Well, I got in trouble with alcohol. These positions aren't available to me. Fuck it. I'll just take whatever they give me. And then anger, bitterness, and resentment. Anger, bitterness, and resentment leads to drinking. So moving forward now,
Yeah.
the next opportunity that presents itself, what will you do?
Plan and analyze and actually prepare to make a decision for based on what I want.
And how does that feel just saying that?
Feels a lot better. Feels like I'm more in control.
Absolutely. Feels like I'm in control. I'm in the driver's seat. And so now what we're going to do is, this is your new focus, Eric. Because I've heard you mention this before about the regrets. So what does that mean? Focusing on the past. Nothing I can do about the past. can only make changes today that will bring positive change for the future. So if I stay sober, and if I do the next right thing, and I look for opportunities that I'm interested in, and then I plan, analyze, prepare, and make decisions that are based on what I want, then you stop focusing on the past and you're only focusing on the future. This is your driver. This is your motivation. And the motivation is, I never, ever, ever want to be in a situation where I'm not in control, where I'm not in the driver's seat, where I let somebody else dictate my future. How does that feel?
Feels good. Yeah, no, I've talked a lot about the regret, and that's kind of how I came to the shame thing, because I noticed that I would keep going back and wondering, like, I know you said that, well, if I keep revisiting, there has to be something that I'm trying to learn from there. And like I said, the regret didn't sound right. It felt like that was just surface level. There was something deeper than that. And, that's why I think I just felt ashamed of not living up to some sort of expectation that other people or that I had made up, or part of honestly, a lot of it had to do with my drinking as well, because it all had some sort of effect on everything. I probably didn't do as good in college, or I know I didn't do as good as college, and prepare and plan and prioritize stuff because of my drinking.
So what this falls in line with is just this general feeling of disappointment. This is constant feeling throughout your life of letting yourself down and disappointing yourself. And then the alcohol is the precursor and the soothing agent. So it's always seems to be in some place along the way, before, during, and after. And so now moving forward, the guilt and the shame is just like the fear for Shelley. That's all it is. Negative emotions are simply our guidance system, our internal guidance system, that let us know if we're going in the wrong direction or if we're going in the right direction. If I am starting to focus on regret and the shame starts to come up, it's telling me, hey, cut it out. You need to focus on something different, right? If you keep focusing here, this is only going to get worse. And it's your internal guidance system going, this is a waste of time. Let's use our time more productively and more wisely. Let's go positive and let's go forward facing. Let's use this energy and let's use this time in the most positive way possible. And if I want to, I can just simply say, I am no longer going to be focusing on the regrets of the past, and I'm simply going to be using the mistakes and failures that have happened in my life as the drivers and the motivation to plan, analyze, prepare, and make the choices and make the choices and decisions based on what I want. You got to constantly be pulling yourself out of the negative by using positive language. Can you do it, Eric?
Yes, I can. One of the things I noticed too is when I'm sitting there ruminating and dwelling on all that shit that happened in the past, I miss stuff in the present, and then it gives me something else to be mad about, because it's like, oh, I didn't see that coming, because I was, it's like trying to drive through the rearview mirror, and then you miss your exit and you're wondering why.
That was gold. That was absolute gold. Everyone listening to this needs to rewind this and then just write that down, because that is our biggest pitfall as human beings, driving around looking in the rearview mirror. Forward facing Always. So do you have something that you're trying to accomplish in this moment, Eric?
Yeah, because I got my degree in marketing, you know, I wanted to do stuff with that, but I never really did. Was drinking and, you know, I didn't try. I was like, did other stuff because I kind of got a case of the fuck it's like, well, if I can't be good, I might as well just do this. And so because of that, I signed up to do like some online classes to kind of get like a refresher in marketing and stuff. So that's what I'm working on right now. So I could work on that after after I finish this class. And when I apply for marketing jobs, it won't look like I just had a degree 10 years ago. It'll show that I had some other training and I'm working on other things as well.
I love it. I love it. And so now that you no longer are going to be wasting time focusing on the regrets of the past, you can now use that time and energy to finish this course, figure out how you're going to get faster internet speed because you're going to need that for your marketing job. Okay. And that's really your only hurdle right now. You have no other hurdles. You're sober, you're clear, you're focused, you're letting go of the past. I just need faster internet speed. Right, Tori?
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, I don't know if I could get any out here. I'm still working on it.
All right. So listen, buddy, where there's a will, there's a way. Tap into that Marine. Okay. What is it? What's the motto? Adapt. What is it?
Adapt and overcome.
There you go. Well, Tori, what did you say?
I said adapt and overcome.
Adapt and overcome. Right. Just like Eric said, adapt and overcome. Wasn't there more? I think there's more to that. It feels like there would be more. Adapt and overcome and something else. Anyway, Eric, any other questions?
No, I don't have anything else. I did want to say though that I am grateful for you doing these coaching calls, and you know I listened to your podcast and I've heard some of them that you did with Emily, like one of the ones ways back, and then but specifically this one I remember that you did with this lady that was talking, and he had like a loved one that was in that shooting at the nightclub.
Yep.
And you talked to him he was just there and you just helped him out just out of the goodness of your heart. So I just wanted to say that I'm grateful for you and what you do here for everybody and whoever listens to this.
Eric, thank you, brother. Thank you. That landed right here in the heart center. Appreciate you, brother. Appreciate you. Thank you.
You're welcome.
All right. We are closing strong. Beautiful, beautiful Wednesday coaching call. Big applause for everyone. Corrie, Eric. All right. Tori, of course, my co-pilot. And Shelly for sticking through on video the whole time. Thank you. All right. We will see you all next Wednesday. Have a blessed week.